Welcome to Season 2 of RecLess, the podcast making you smarter and more knowledgeable about the field of parks and recreation. Join hosts Shane Mize, Jay Tryon, and Tom Venniro, three career-long friends from around the country as they dive into the world of parks and recreation with a surprise guest each episode. Laughs, leadership, life. This is RecLess.
Oh shit! You said these guests, but
You caught me. You caught. I can't even get. I was like, oh man, I said that, didn't I? And you didn't say anything, so I was like, all right, maybe I snuck that one past him.
no way. But look at this. It would be tough.
What is going on here?
Yeah, we're not actually having an episode, guys. This is we're just having an intervention Zoom meeting, and so a couple former guests have had some issues with
I get
what we
it.
put out there, and
Or guests that didn't get their show put out because someone didn't hit record.
You like how I said Jay didn't make sure I hit record the last time
I'm so confused right now.
Yeah,
But
I
also
know.
intrigued.
I know. Are you ready? Are you ready? You want to just dive right into it?
Fuck.
Hey man,
Yeah.
I'm always ready.
All right.
I'm
Here
gonna
we
talk
go.
with you clowns anyways.
I got nothing. Sorry.
Welcome to RecLess. We are here in episode number 40. So that's pretty cool to say, right? Nice round number. Episode 40. We made it to 40 and kept this thing going.
Who'd have thought?
Well, you know what's funny about that is we joked about like, will we make it to 20?
Yeah. That's gonna probably happen every time we hit a number with a zero. But we'll try not to stress that to our listener every time we do that. So yeah, we've got a special episode today, not intentional based on the episode 40, but we have 4 guests for episode 40.
This is crazy.
So before we get into that, yeah, you guys are all thrown off right now. We have never had more than a guest, right? One guest. So as always, I am here with Shane Mize and Jay Tryon. I'm your host today, Tom Venniro. As you listen and join the three of us talk a little bit about Parks and Rec on our journeys and how we could highlight some of the others and hear some really great stories along the way from our guests. And so today, again, guests, plural, we have 4. I don't know how often
We're outnumbered.
We are outnumbered. That is going to be a rarity. Maybe never happens again. But I don't know how often you listen to Smartless, either of you. And I typically will listen once a week now when I have a drive to either hockey or softball or whatever it is that I'm doing. It's kind of the one time I'm in a car, especially now that I live really, really close to work where I'm walking every day, as opposed to music, which I always used to listen to. I'm throwing on a podcast, and usually it's Smartless. And recently I listened to a couple episodes. One of them was with Steve Martin and Martin Short. So 2 guests. And then another one I actually haven't listened to was called 3 Presidents. They actually got 3 presidents on there. So
Hannah's listened to that one and said it was really good.
yes. Okay. So I think they dabble. We're going to dabble, right? So this is you all know I like to keep it interesting with our guests and maybe go against the grain sometimes. So that's what we're doing today. We got 4 guests to keep us all on our toes. And to start our episode, since we do have 4 guests and we do have a tight time frame, I need to hold you both to a 1-minute response to the opener question.
Good luck.
Do either of you feel like that's possible?
I think it's possible for us. I'm not sure if you can do it.
Oh,
Me. You think me? Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. The last time that Shane was asked to keep it short, it certainly went over. But hey, all right. I'll start, and it will be less than a minute. Here's the question, and it's on a personal level. What is something that the 2 of you are looking forward to? It's summer. What's something the 2 of you are looking forward to this summer on a personal level, not necessarily work related? For me, Melissa and I are going on a trip to, any guesses?
Disney.
We are going to Disney. It is coinciding with
Didn't y'all already go on Disney this year?
All right, we're not going to talk about that right
Okay.
now. Okay, I got a minute. It's coinciding
Your
with,
minute's up.
with the opportunity that I had to go to the Florida State Conference, which is 15 minutes outside of Orlando. So great opportunity. And Melissa and I are going together without the kids. And we've gone the last few times with the kids. So this is the first time we have done any kind of real extended absence without our kids, who are, Jack's 4 and Amelia's 2, almost 4, and Amelia's 2, since I think August of 21. So this is the first time in 3 years that we would be doing anything as an extended absence without our kids, and it's exciting and terrifying at the same time. So that's what I'm looking forward to. How about you guys?
I'll go first. We are taking a trip back home to Buffalo a couple days in about a month. We typically go in July and do a big family gathering. It got moved to early August this year, but similar to what Tom just talked about, we will have my parents watch the 2 kids, and we'll get away and go to Canada for a couple nights and just have a little shortened vacay within a vacay. So looking forward to that, but looking forward to just get up to Buffalo for a few days, see some friends and family, get a break from the heat. I mean, it's been 95 degrees for the last week every single day. And if it's one thing I ever miss about Buffalo, it's summertime weather when it doesn't get typically above mid to low 80s. So just trip back home, definitely getting some good food and hanging out and see some friends and family.
Did it under a minute. Shane, you're getting time now too.
Okay. I don't take a lot of vacations in the year, but I do try to take one in the summer. Hannah's transitioned to a new job, so she didn't get this time off that she got as a school teacher. So we're going to do something small, 4 or 5 days as a family, maybe with another family we're close with. But then I have an extra week. This will be the second year in a row I've taken 2 full weeks, which I'm excited about. And I think I'm just going to do a road trip. I'm a huge road trip guy. I love hopping in a Bronco and driving. I don't have to drive any to one spot. I don't even have to tour anything. I love being in the car 6 to 8 hours a day, seeing things. I love stopping at gas stations and roadside stops. And so I don't know where I'm going, but I know I've got about 4 or 5 days that Hannah may or may not be able to work remote, but we're just going to drive. We're just going to go see try to get north, get away from this heat a little bit. I wish I lived near Canada in the summer for sure. Hey, look at that.
50 seconds. Congratulations to both of you. That's a record. And how respectful we're being to our guests. I feel like we always go over and our guests are just listening to us. But hey, Canada, we just had a senior group go to Canada. It's really nice to be able to be that close. I've had a couple other individuals and go in there recently. So Jay, that's pretty cool. Michael Biedenstein, when he was close to Rochester, he visited me a couple days ago. And Jay, when he goes to Buffalo, which is only an hour away from Rochester, he doesn't even call. Usually he plans it while I'm away, oddly enough. But hey, anyway, let's get going.
I talk to you enough on here every week now.
That's true.
Seriously.
That is true. All right. So we don't want to make our guests, plural, wait any longer. And we've got a short amount of time with them. So let's get into it. Let's see how good you all are at guessing maybe 1, maybe 2. We've got surprise as one of our guests. We've got guest as a guest. We've got the fun one. And we've got little Sebastian. Jay, again, who's little Sebastian?
From a TV show, but that's all I know. From Park and Rec. Couldn't tell you who they were, but I can tell you it's from Park and Rec.
We're growing on them.
All right, here we go. All right, so our guests collectively have spent a majority of their time in the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, and the South. Some of them,
so everywhere.
Yeah, so everywhere. And some of them may have been in multiple of those areas. Collectively, our guests have specialized in their careers in the arts, music, marketing, technology, and investments.
What are we doing? It's everything.
Not programming.
Right. You got nothing, anything yet? Okay.
No, you pretty much just said they live anywhere in the country. They've worked everywhere in the country, and they do all different things.
Yeah. Are there 4 presidents? Do we have the 4 presidents? Did we do one better than
All right, this is good. All right, I'm going to give you another one. Our guests, I had no idea if you were going to get any of these. So our guests are as close to the field of Parks and Recreation without being directly in it. You might argue that they are as vested in the field as any one of us.
One of them or all 4 of them?
That's it. That was the clue. There's no follow-up question.
I'm terrible at this.
Our guests are the unsung heroes in our lives that stand by our sides through all of the craziness that we go through in this field of Parks and Rec.
Are these spouses?
Our guests today are our partners, our spouses.
What?
Yes, you got it. I've got Lindsey Tryon, Hannah
I guessed it though.
Melissa Salatino, and a special guest, Josh Keller. spouse of Katie Keller, our first ever guest on the
This is
show.
ridiculous.
So, episode 40, a very, very special episode. We've got our spouses. First of all, how are you all? Thank you for joining us.
That
So
was
who was
hilarious.
surprise guest? What was Josh's?
The
fun
fun
That's just
one.
the fun one.
And then Little Sebastian, is that
Honestly.
Katie?
It's Melissa. She's
Oh,
she's
she's
not
over there.
on my
Okay.
screen at this
Okay.
point.
Gotcha.
She didn't get the assignment correct. But
Love
I
it.
was waiting for someone else to like turn the camera on and see who that last person was.
that's an
Okay.
actual pony behind that one. Can't operate
This
Zoom.
is great.
So Jay and Shane, I just need to ask before we get into some questioning with our panel of guests. Surprised? Any idea?
Yeah. I mean, I guess spouses right before you said it, but I couldn't figure it out because there was 4 screens. So Josh is our spouse, all of us.
Josh
Exactly.
is the number one spouse that comes to conference.
That's
Hey.
hilarious.
All right. So you know what? The premise of this idea came up a long time ago. I actually spoke with Hannah, Melissa, a few other people about this probably in the fall of last year. And I wanted to do this episode prior to the national conference last year.
Oh,
Could not coordinate it. Things happened, life got in the way. And finally, Melissa just finished teaching yesterday, was her last day. So this was all coordinated. The stars aligned. The first date and time I threw out there pretty much worked. And so we've got everybody here. And the premise why I wanted to do this back then was because, we as Parks and Rec professionals in our positions, we talk about our struggles, our challenges, our schedules all the time. Our schedules can be demanding, and there's, and I think I said this to our panel prior to the show. I don't mean to say there is more demanding than other professions out there, but the schedule is unique. It's dynamic. We are at meetings on a random Wednesday night or a Tuesday night. We have programs and events that are at all different times that can take us away from our families and our homes. So that was kind of the idea is can we release something like this before NRPA for maybe some people out there who are just navigating this crazy field and navigating it with their partner, with their spouse, with their families. So we've had that conversation a lot, and being invested in what we do, right? Shane and Jay, you guys put in so much time, and I've always had such a respect for what you do, and we've been able to share that. So that can be hard on our families. That can be hard on our partners at time. I know that Melissa's sitting by me. I mean, it's challenge. She lets me know about it too. So, I mean, I don't know if everybody else has those hard conversations, talk about difficult conversations, but we have them. And so, I guess what I'd like to start off with for our guests is a 2-part question. And I'm gonna like Hannah did for our recap show. Yes, it's a 2-parter. It's got
me 2 questions.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to call on them, and then I don't know, guys, if you want to do that, but Hannah did that in a recap video or a recap session, and that worked out really well. I do want to say before I ask this question, have fun with it. Everybody on the call, Josh, Lindsey, Melissa, Hannah, if you've got a question for either us or one of the other panelists, please just do the old hand raise and get your question in, okay? But I know that Jay and Shane will have some fun questions. So my question for you is, how do you all handle the schedule of either myself in Melissa's case, Jay, Shane? How do you handle that? What advice would you have for those who are adjusting to a really demanding Park and Rec schedule if they're a partner of a Park and Rec professional? So I'll start let's go with Josh. We're going to go with Josh first.
Oh boy, put me on the spot first. So, I mean, pretty much right now I work from home, so it's kind of easy. I have a very flexible schedule with my job, so it kind of makes it even better. I'm really available to, go pick up the kids from school, take them to tutoring, take them to athletics. I coach them in the majority of their sports. So, when Katie has a meeting on Wednesday nights or whatever, the boys and I kind of got this little thing. It's called Boys Night. So we kind of, we get to do whatever we want. We eat ice cream for dinner. We have fun. We watch movies, so we really, they enjoy when mom's not around or at a meeting on boys night. So we really kind of have fun with that. when they were, smaller, they're 11 and 8 now, but when they were smaller, and I guess Jay can attest to this, when Katie went to her first conference, I believe it was at Ohio, she was supposed to call the boys in the morning, and I see Jay laughing now because he just, oh yeah, there it is. She was supposed to call us and talk to us in the morning, and she didn't, so, yeah, whatever. She slept in, a few hours later, I'm calling her, she's not answering. So I look on, find my iPhone, right? And she didn't tell me where she was staying, what flights, nothing. She's like, oh, I'm going to conference, it's going to be great. So I look on Find My iPhone, and it shows her in the middle of train tracks. I'm like, great. She went to conference and,
died.
Now she's dead in the middle of train tracks. So I'm kind of freaking out, trying to call her, and I don't know anybody there. I actually went to the Town of Indian Trails website and got Jay's email address. And I emailed him. I was like, hey, I can't get a hold of Katie. Can you see, is she okay? And a few hours later, she calls me. She's like, hey, sorry, overslept, had a good time. Sorry about that. It's like, okay. So now that I know that conferences are networking, and that's how it goes. But yeah, it was a little taxing when they were younger. Now that they're older and I get to come to conferences, it's kind of fun.
I think it's a little ironic that you probably haven't missed a conference since that first one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got to keep an eye on her sometimes.
Now
we met Josh in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I don't want everybody to get a bad name for this. Some of us don't stay out to those crazy hours at night. All right. I've got
it was her first conference and she was very excited.
She let loose. I get it. All right, let's go to Melissa. Do you remember the same question?
I'm going to be honest. I
you already forgot the question. Yeah. All right. What advice do you have for people who are adjusting to being, with someone with that schedule of a park and rec professional, and how do you handle it?
Well, are we talking about conferences or just everyday life?
We just everything, meetings, things like that, the schedule, the whole grind.
Well, I would just say, and this, I guess, is a pretty obvious answer, just having and making sure you're on the same calendar system. There's been times that we've double booked things and we've had to look towards my mom or your mom to bail us out. Because, I've got a paint party or you've got a meeting or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's common.
So just making sure, that's why we should get the skylight system, that calendar system.
We're looking for new
possible
sponsors.
Yeah, another sponsor. Yeah.
Melissa, just to plug anybody you can. Okay. Anything else?
And just, the kids the hardest thing, because our kids are so little, is that they just miss you, and you are such a daily part of getting them to daycare and, making them meals. When you're gone, that absence is absolutely felt. So one of the things that we did do was because we're in the thick of it with the littles, we got the little recordable Tonys, and Tom read books to them and he'll say, sweet little messages to them in the morning.
I sent one to Jay and Shane too.
Did you really?
Oh. I sleep with it every night.
So that's really helpful when, we're having a little bit of a meltdown, that they can hear daddy's voice, because they're not always accessible. It's really ridiculously hard to get a hold of you guys during conferences, even if you schedule it in. So having those little backup, here's daddy's voice when we can't get a hold of him kind of thing helps.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. All right. How about Lindsey?
Oh boy, advice. Well, Jay and I have been together for 20 years, and this has been our life for those 20 years. I will say it's gotten a lot easier as time has gone on. Of course, as you add a child, or now two, into the picture, it gets you have to recalibrate a bit. But we definitely have the conversations all the time. Sometimes it feels like he's just working all the time. I think one thing that helps us is whenever myself and the kids can attend one of his events. So if there's a movie night or whatever, for us to go, it feels more like we're going out with the family versus he's working and we're home. So we try to do that as much as we can. When he travels for conference, it's just a shit show. Honestly, I have no sorry, I don't know if I can curse on here.
Yes, yes.
Yes, you can.
I have no advice for that. But I also travel for work sometimes too, so it's just it equals out. But we don't have family that lives nearby. So we've got an 11-year-old that is very involved in sports. So just getting him where he needs to go. And then we have a 2-year-old that is a 2-year-old. So I've got nothing for that. But for day to day, we try to stay involved.
Yeah, I appreciate what you said, because Melissa will call me on usually the first day of a conference and we'll be like, never again. And I swear that happens once a conference. And usually by day 2, 3, it actually starts to really plateau and steady. But that first day, I get real anxious, really anxious. It's hard to enjoy myself. So I get it. All right. And last but not least, Hannah, our editor and guest.
It's so exciting to be on this side of the camera this time, this side of the
She's
Zoom.
right fucking there. Like I walked by her.
I know it's so hard.
We did a pre-meeting just before this.
Did
And you
really?
were walking behind the camera, babe. You didn't
Yeah, I
even
could see
it.
you.
I was hiding the screen. Anyway, like Lindsay and Jay, Shane and I have been together through this whole thing. This is year 24, and we basically have grown up as Parks and Rec people. I think for us, it and for me, it was just a shift of he's in Parks and Rec, so we're all in Parks and Rec. Like this is what we do, and people recreate whenever they're off. And so that's anytime me as a teacher being off, like everybody is, that's his busy season. So we just kind of have shifted to where we don't like date nights. We don't have like a Friday night date night. We go to date lunches whenever we have time to do that, or the kids would come to things with us. I mean, the kids have participated in every single camp and activity, and that's where they get to go and see dad. And the opportunities that we've experienced have definitely enriched us more than they've hurt us. So it's been a really, really fantastic experience. As far as conferences, there was one conference, well, we have 4, and they're all very close together. And I forgot Shane's birthday.
My favorite birthday present I've ever had.
Best birthday ever.
Was when I talked to her on the phone. It's that daily check-in that we always have, right?
Yes.
Everyone here has one of those, and you call and you're like, "Hey, how's conference? Good." And then Hannah was like, "Who'd you talk to?" I was like, "Well, I talked to my dad, talked to my mom, talked to my grandparents, talked to my brother and sisters." And she's
I was
like, "Oh,
like,
that's
so
crazy.
nice."
All of them called you today. That's crazy." And we talked.
It was his
She got
birthday.
off the phone, and I looked over at the guy I was rooming with, and I said, "She fucking forgot my birthday." And I am not gonna say a word about it. I'm gonna try to get through midnight, and it'll be the best thing that ever happened. And she never called back. We sat there and like watched it was Derek DeBusk. For anyone that knows Derek DeBusk,
Yeah.
we were like watching the digital clock, 11:59 and midnight. We were like, "Oh my gosh!" And she called the next morning in tears, realized she had forgotten my birthday. I think we had like
It was rough.
a
newborn.
newborn,
This,
yeah, 2.
our youngest had been, her birthday is August 31st, and this is October by the time that we're doing that. So he had left me alone with 4 young children. I had a newborn, a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old, and I was working full time and getting up all night. Like, yeah, it's no wonder I forgot his birthday. He's always like, "I can't believe you
Don't
forgot
try
my
to
birthday."
disclaimer
Yeah,
it. Listen,
I know.
she
There was
forgot
one
it.
particular
Best damn
time-
present. No, she can't one up me
Ever.
anything, because anything she ever
Yes, it-
says, I'd be like, "Well, I've never forgotten one of your birthdays."
That's true. It's really horrible. But there was one particular time where he had scheduled 3 conferences back to back, and he was gone for 3 weeks in a row, and the kids were little at that time. And I did say after that one, I was like, "You can never do that to me again." But besides that, all a positive experience.
Well, all right. Let's see who's up next. I've got more, but
I can
wanna
ask
give you-
one. So I thought growing into this field that doing a job that was actually your passion was going to be my superpower, right? All it did in some ways was ensure that I would never be able to step away from it. Like there is no break. Like if I was an accountant and cared nothing about accountant, but that provided me enough lifestyle that I could then be a passionate person about Parks and Rec even. And I could go serve on a parks board, and I could take my family on the lake or fishing, or we could go to the events. It would be 2 separate worlds I lived in, right? And I thought pursuing my passion was going to be this superpower, but all it's done in some ways is made it where you're never off. because you're always at an event, or even when something's going on, you're getting a call that some kid shit in the pool and you got to shut it down for the day, or the camp van is got a flat. Both of those happened to us this week, and so things like that are always happening. Hannah's not surprised when I come home after a long day and it's 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I'm still getting a call about something, right?
You have vacation sometimes.
I do. I need one. Yeah.
No. I'm saying it happens on vacation.
Absolutely. That's
All
why
the
I try
time.
to go somewhere that you can't get a hold of me.
It's no service.
But how does each spouse justify that in the world they work, which potentially might be different, where they're not in a job necessarily they're passionate about. They enjoy it, but they find their passion in other pursuits. Do you ever wish your spouse would have pursued that? Or do you see, the service to the community or whatever, something that, like Hannah said, you're all in it together? I'll go with Lindsey first.
Okay, so I am what you were describing.
Yeah.
I work in a job that is fine. I don't have like an incredible amount of passion for it. And I certainly find my passion in things that are not work related, which is different than Jay. But sometimes I think I would like that. I
Yeah.
think,
Both y'all got off at 5 o'clock and you're like, screw it,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be nice sometimes. However, I do realize that it is so special to be able to go to work. Like one time I said to Jay, like, oh, do you ever go to work and like, before you get out of your car, just think, oh, like, I just don't want to do this. And he was like, no. I was like, really? Like, because I feel that way all the time, because like sometimes you just don't feel like dealing with it. But he doesn't. He gets to go to work every day and he enjoys what he does and he sees the impact he has on the community. And I think that's really good for his kids to see, so I don't know that I would change it if I had the chance to, but I do think it would be nice to experience turning it off and not
Sure.
having the phone ring. Although that comes in phases, and with the different jobs and roles he's had in Parks and Rec, it definitely changes a bit. We can only hope that maybe it'll get better.
Yeah. What about you, Melissa?
I thought for sure that I was gonna break him at some point. Like I was like, we're gonna get
We
married.
did
I'm gonna
too,
let this.
to be quite
Yeah,
honest.
I'm just gonna.
We were all
fly
banking
and
on that.
I was like, all right, I'll get him to a point where like at 6 o'clock, he's done with work, no phone calls. And I was like, okay, maybe once kids come around. And it's just never, he's literally like Tom Brady, where he's just, he loves his job so much that he never lets
Best
it
thing
go.
I've ever heard.
I was about to say, he's gonna
But
he's
also
gonna
getting
live off
divorced,
that for a long
getting
time.
divorced.
So you're saying he's a cheater.
Oh,
Whatever. I say he's a winner. You say he's
So,
a cheater. It's all fine.
It's just tough. Sometimes I do wish he was a little bit more, we put his foot
Available.
down a little bit
Oh,
more,
yeah.
just because a couple weeks ago, I got a text message from one of his employees at 10 o'clock at night, trying to get a hold of me to get a hold of him. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, so
I purposely was like, I was pretty much, I ready. We're in bed anyway, right? We're in bed
Yeah.
at this point, but I was like, I'm not answering it. And then and it wasn't necessary, but
right.
it's the whole thing. I mean, these things happen. You get comfortable with some people. That wouldn't be everybody. You know what I
Right.
mean? But
so,
hey,
yeah.
real quick, a side story, delivery room.
Oh, so we're having our first child. We're on his way.
The favorite.
His favorite. Yep. And I forgot about this story. Thank you for bringing it up. This is great. He's answering emails. And so they had to induce me. And so they're upping the Pitocin and I'm starting to feel it. And I told him like, babe, I need you to stop with the emails. Like, this is getting hard. I need you to help me through this. Okay, I'll wrap it up. I'm thinking minute 2, he's still just, I yelled at him. I go, if you don't get off that laptop, I'm going to throw it through the window. And he realized like, okay, this is serious. Like,
That's funny.
Time to stop.
yeah, it's time to stop. With
We had-
Amelia, the laptop was not allowed at all at the hospital.
When our third born, Hayden, was born, he was born during spring break camp. And we went in and did everything that you're supposed to do to have a baby. And I went to Whataburger that night, celebrated, went and saw the kids. Now we have other kids at the house, so I'm having to go relieve whatever person is watching our kids while Hannah and Hayden stay at the house. And then they were at camp with me, so we took them to camp and we waited for Hayden to get back. When I did my accounting that week, I only claimed 3 hours. I worked I mean, I worked 37 hours that week. So
Yeah.
sometimes that's what you say about middle children in general. But as a rec person, as a Parks and Rec employee, your life isn't your own for sure.
I was
Josh,
thankful for the nurses at the hospital on that one.
That's
They
right.
took care of me.
hey, don't talk unless you're spoken to. Don't do that. What are you doing? Joshua, what do you think? What did you think about Kate? You found out Katie was getting into government. What do you think that would be? Like, what would that look like? You didn't realize it'd be like this, or did you like, I kind of think it'll be
I
like
watched
this?
a lot of Parks and Rec show, and I was like, oh, I mean, I think I've called her Leslie Knope on multiple occasions with her binders and all. She was always very prepared for everything. It was a little bit easier before she got the director's position in Pittsburgh. Myself, like I go to work and I do my job and then I'm done. And I've tried to instill that into her. I'm like, it's just a job, like just go see it as a job. Don't be so passionate about things. And she loves it. And I'm happy for her that she has found something that she truly loves and enjoys doing every day. Again, like kind of like Lindsey said, I was like, you just like go sit in her car like 30 minutes before work and be like, I really don't want to walk through that door today. And she's like, no, why would I do that? I'm like, I did that like, I don't know, almost like weekly. Like I just don't want to walk through those doors. And this is when I was obviously in an office, but like, now I'm 5 steps from my bed. So it's like, it's kind of hard to get out of the bed and walk those 5 steps daily. But yeah, no, she loves her job and she is great at her job. And I don't think I really realized how great she was at her job before I started coming to conference. And I met all of you again. Like it's just, she is amazing at what she does. And I'm super proud of her for all that she does.
All right, Hannah, last one's for you. You were a teacher until recently because of the health stuff that we've dealt with. And now you've transitioned into this role that it's a little bit more 8 to 5 and you're leading your crew and you sometimes get after hours, you're like, I might need to report a little earlier. I got to work on this thing, but it definitely doesn't consume your life. I've said, you've heard me say for a long time, like the cool thing about Parks and Rec is there's no brick and mortar building. There's no Mize tire shop that I can pass along to my family. It's just service. It's them getting to see the fireworks getting set up. It's them getting to see Santa before anyone else does. It's them getting to groove the snow hill at Missouri City, getting them out of school early and grooving the snow hill before anyone else has ridden on it. It's those lasting legacies of service. When I've talked about that over the years, have you appreciated that? Or have you wished that I had been an accountant or something that we could have nights and weekends together more?
No, I think what you guys do is so special, and the memories and the experiences that our kids have had through Parks and Rec has been so different and so special from anything else. I mean, no one else that goes to those events got to do any of the stuff that my kids were doing. Like it's kind of funny, even with them going to events now, if they go, they're just an attendee. They don't even like to go. It's just like in quotation marks, an attendee. They want the VIP experience. They don't want to have to go and be with the common people,
Where's the parking pass? Where can I park? Yeah. Because all of our kids are driving, except for one. It's a totally different lifestyle now.
They have all the perks. No, I think exactly what you said. I think that there is something really, really wonderful about a career in service and being able to see the impact that you have on others. And I've definitely have experienced that as a teacher. And I understand the passion that goes behind what you guys do, and not only helping the public that you're working with, but also the impact that you have on incoming and present professionals in your field and helping them to navigate those things too. I think it's incredibly special.
And a follow-up to you before Jay asks this question is, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because there's plenty of places, unfortunately, in our day-to-day that you can't really admit that your husband's the park and rec director. Someone's
This is true.
belly aching or bitching about the pool not being open or a camp going on, or when you do tell someone that I'm the parks and rec director of the town we're in, or someone else pulls me aside while we're out eating or we're at the wine place that you like to go to or whatever, it takes from us. And so, that's the other side of it as well. Service, just serving the public never stops.
Definitely.
I want to build off a couple of things that have been said. and Lindsey mentioned it, Shane and Hannah, you were touching on it, but in the profession, we do a lot of programs and events, and a lot of our families are involved in some capacity, coming to parades, coming to fireworks festival or fireworks shows, coming to ribbon cuttings, whatever it may be. I'm curious if there's one event or one program that you have attended for your spouse that sticks out as being memorable or impactful, or one that you really enjoyed the most out of all of them. And I'll go with Hannah first, because Melissa looks like she's still thinking.
Mhm.
We've had several that have been really, really fantastic. Snowfest in Missouri City with the hill and sledding down the hill was always an amazing experience. But it's kind of funny, the two that stand out to me the most that were just really fun experiences. When we were in Fort Worth one year for Halloween, we were down in the Cats Stadium, or in the Cats at the baseball stadium, and they did fireworks out on the field, and we were right underneath the fireworks, and it was the coolest fireworks show I have ever been to in my whole entire life. Like it felt like they were just right on top of us. That was a really magical night.
They did that haunted house. They did all the haunted stuff, and everyone else got to sit in the stands, but the people that had put it on, we got to sit in the outfield and look straight up. That was really cool.
And that was a really, really exciting experience. Then the other one, and I've mentioned this to Shane several times, and he's always like, that program, that was nothing. They did a glow-in-the-dark bike ride and bike safety course. It was after dark, and they put it out on the tennis courts, and the kids rode around cones and stuff. And then everybody got like flashlights and glow-in-the-dark bracelets and necklaces and decked out. Shane hated this program. And
Like
then
most of
we
them.
had we had a police escort, and we went on a nighttime bike ride with everybody glowing in the dark. It was the coolest experience. Shane said that he was just glad that nobody got run over by a car, and he had lots of negative things to say. But from the family's experience, it was a really magical night.
Awesome. Before we go on to the next one, just because Shane has talked about it so many times, Tom, Hannah didn't mention Easter egg hunts, so they must not be that special to not have a memorable Easter egg hunt. Melissa, what do you got?
It's tough just because our kids are so little and they're just starting to get into those perks and that magic. So I guess I would have to answer from an adult perspective. Like,
Yeah,
it was so
that's good.
cool. Like when he would bring in the animals in, and I was getting to hold like a little baby like fox and all the animals that you just got to look at, but here I am getting to hold these little things and actually touch them. So there's just been a lot of really cool behind the scenes perks that I've already seen, and I'm just really excited that our kids are gonna get to go see.
Melissa, I think it's interesting that you didn't mention that he hired you to work under him as a complete HR violation.
He
That's
hired
fine.
me. It wasn't until 2 years after he hired me that I made a move. So, but in all fairness, and he might get
HR.
mad at me for saying this, on the interview, I still have the interview sheet. He wrote down on the interview, pretty dress.
I guess I don't remember this, but it was. I do remember the dress. I don't remember writing it.
Couldn't help yourself.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What about you, Lindsey? Is there an event or a program that stands out as memorable?
So I feel like I don't really have one specific event. I mean, we've gone to so many, but I think what stands out to me the most, so our son's 11. He's been in summer camps since he was 5. And I think what's really cool and probably not supposed to happen is that he gets like a lot of special treatment from just all the counselors, everyone, he's kind of like a little celebrity. And whether that's just trying to suck up to Jay, whatever, I don't care. I love the fact that he gets special treatment, and then therefore he loves going. So I think that's the best part for me.
What about you, Josh?
I'm trying to think. I think 2 come to mind when Katie was at Indian Trail. The movies on the baseball field, our kids love that. And then I think the music at the little amphitheater you guys had right beside the town hall was that face painting there. I still have, this picture where they both had their face painting. One was Spider-Man and one was the Hulk. So, just cool stuff like that kind of, keeps coming back in my memory of like, that one really sticks out because I have the picture, it pops up on my memories all the time. And I kind of, it's one of my backgrounds that pops up on my phone every now and then. Those are 2 that really stick out.
That's cool. And I remember those movies and concerts with the kids there.
There's a different perspective of that too from a practitioner, right? That Melissa doesn't even get to experience sometimes. Like my kids are always, they're always around sometimes when we're at events and programs, and they run around the place. We've talked about this on the show, so I won't go too in, but they run around the place like they own it. You know what I mean? They have such a real attachment to what we do, and that's special. So let me go into that, and maybe this can be a real quick hitter. We typically do some rapid fire questions, and I think maybe that's the direction we'll go. We just asked 3 questions, which were kind of full blown out answers. The next ones, if we can kind of make them more quick. And along those lines, what is the best part about being married to a park and rec professional, in your opinion? Just if you had to pick one. Let's see. Let's go with, I'll go with my same order from before. Josh.
Going to conferences. I mean, to be honest with you, going to conferences, hanging out with Hannah. We do our thing. We get to have fun while you guys are in sessions and stuff.
Real Housewives of NRPA.
You got that right.
Ask about that.
We get to have a lot of good times. We get to see a lot of things and enjoy each other's company, and just the friendships that I've made through my wife being at conferences. I think that's probably one of the coolest things.
No, I love that answer. And Melissa's only had the opportunity to go to maybe 2 of the conferences. I think Charlotte, where we went to Charleston, which I know Jay and Lindsey really enjoy.
That's where we met Lindsey at Charlotte.
Yeah. So in New Orleans, which was an amazing conference. So hopefully we can get Melissa back. We'll get Melissa back there next time in Orlando. Don't worry about that. Not maybe Atlanta, but in Orlando, we'll get her there. That's next year. So, all right, let's see. Going back to we'll make it work. Don't worry. Can we go back?
Next baby. No, let me just, for the record, I want a 3rd baby. That would be like newborn. No.
But it would be in Orlando.
With a newborn and 2 other kids?
Haven't you been to Orlando
by
with a newborn?
myself?
We could just leave the baby.
Tom's there.
All right, so let's move on. Best thing about being married to a Parks and Rec professional. Who did I go to second last? I think it was Melissa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I am jealous of the conferences, and I am looking forward to our kids getting older and being able to join. But I would just say, just being able to help and put my own little spin on things. Like, not only do I do paint parties with and through them, but I design their logo. I occasionally help out with the brochure. I draw the murals, the big coloring murals that the kids fill in at the holiday experience. So it's nice being able to like put a little bit of like my ownership in as well.
Yeah, that's an amazing perk that I have. Melissa's artistic abilities, I mean, just have added so much. Where I lack in that eye of design and creativity, I have someone next to me that can, call us out sometimes if something doesn't look so good, but I trust her, and it's been really beneficial for me. So, I do appreciate that. Yeah. And Lindsey.
I would say being married to someone that always knows everything that's happening and going on is a real perk. Yeah, I love that. I don't have to, Jay just tells me everything that's happening that weekend, and we just go and do.
It's a good one. Hannah.
I love all of these. I would also say like the family that we've gained through Parks and Rec. Like I'm friends with all of you guys, and the other YPN family that we have very close relationships with, and you guys all are very, very special to us. And I wouldn't know any of you if it weren't for Parks and Rec.
No, I agree. And I typically, that does not happen with Melissa in her teacher world, right? Like I haven't, it's a different vibe, and these Parks and Rec people seem to bring that out. And yeah, I guess here and there. So rapid fire from Shane or Jay. My
turn. So if Parks and Rec wasn't an industry, what would your spouse be doing? Josh.
I don't know. Her major before Parks and Rec was, I think that was math. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, can't really, I don't know what she would have done with that. Maybe teaching. I'm gonna go teaching.
Okay. Lindsey.
Phys ed teacher.
Melissa.
He was supposed to be a math teacher, but bailed and switched majors. So I'm not going to say math teacher, but because he's so obsessed with guest experiences, I would say guest experiences at Disney, since we are so obsessed.
He'd be pretty good at that. Hannah.
Well, either a football coach or a football scout.
Jay's turn.
So we all have kids, and our kids are all different ages. And if you're one of your kids, doesn't matter which one, came to you tomorrow when they're old enough and said, hey, I'm going to pursue a career in Park and Rec, what is the first thing you say to them, or what's your response to that statement?
Good question. Don't you have to
And Hannah,
point
you go
somebody?
first.
I think I would say get ready to work really hard and get ready to be very unselfish. Like, you have to set aside your own personal feelings, preferences, whatever it is, to jump in and be truly, truly successful in this field. You've got to put in the time and the effort in order to be really great.
Nice. Lindsay, what would you say?
So my computer froze as you were asking that. Is it just what I would tell someone that wanted to go into this field?
Tell your
No,
son,
if
Noah.
one of our kids came up to you and said, I'm going to pursue a career in Park and Rec, what is your first response to that statement?
It was so much easier when you were just telling someone else.
Oh, ouch.
Ouch. That's
I don't know. I don't know what I would say. That's a tough one because, I am going to try really hard to not give my opinion for my children and what they want to do. So I think I would try my best to not encourage or just, try to get them not to. I think I would just say like, experience, shadow, like understand what your dad has, like through the pros and the cons. But yeah, can be a rewarding career if you're up to work that hard. But right now I don't think my child's up to work that hard. So I don't know.
Melissa, what do you think?
I would just say get ready to network and foster relationships more than anything. Tom just has this he's so good with people, but just the amount of network connections. And sometimes I'm like, why are we doing all of this? And then I see, how it all, intertwines and things come back around. And I was like, okay, I get it now. And, as much as I hate him going away at these conferences, I do get it. Like, I do understand the importance of networking because I see people that are not, from around the area that don't network and they just kind of get, stuck. But people that do go into network, they just start to blossom and grow personally, but then more opportunities are open to them. So you have to be really open to putting yourself out there and networking with people, as you guys have talked about many, many times on the show.
Oh, yeah. And Josh, what would you say to one of the boys if they came to you?
I would say go talk to your mother. To be honest with you. No, but if Base came and asked me, I'm like, you would do great. He's a people person. If Turner came, I'm like, listen, bud, you really don't like people that much, and that's a lot of the job. So you might want to look at something else. Yeah.
Yeah, I put on a lot of events I'd never go to. Although this question wasn't addressed to me, I do want to speak on it for a second. I was football coaching before I did this, and so you don't have a lot of time. In fact, if you ever hear about a coach's work ethic, they're in there at 5 or 6 in the morning. They're there till midnight. That's glorified in a lot of ways. And I remember hearing Bob Stoop say that he took his kids to school every day. Like, he carved out a little time that he wasn't going to be that coach that was there at 6 a.m. He was going to take his kids to school because he knew he wouldn't see them when they got home. So he wanted to make sure he saw them. That was something I talked to Hannah about early on, both coaching and ultimately in Parks and Rec, that I try to have a little time in the morning that 8, 9 in the morning, whether I was taking the kids to school back in the day when they needed rides. I was that person. I took all the kids to school when I could, or just a little time with Hannah in the morning. I think our nights and our weekends are taken away from us. But if you can carve out some time, we've carved out this podcast. We try to commit to these Fridays. I think it's been great for our mental health. Same thing in the mornings for families. I want to see them before they're going to school. Tell them have a good day. I may not see them when they get home, but I still got some quality time with them. I think this field still provides that opportunity if you can be intentional and carve it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Tom's walking his kids to school every morning, right? So that's the same thing, right? Yeah.
I mean, in some days, they go in like a different means of transportation every day, which actually is actually really great and fun. But some of them are harder than others, and you got to try to figure out ways to enjoy it. And
I've called Jay, and you've been doing morning duty, right, Jay? So yeah, I think we've all tried that in some ways.
Certain days. Yep.
Yeah.
Last question. And this is, I want you to keep it PG. Don't out anybody too crazy. But this is an opportunity for you all to tell myself, Jay, or Shane something that we don't know about the other individual. All All right. Something that Jay and Shane and our listeners would not know about
Oh,
me.
so Hannah tells
Yes.
something.
And so
So
Hannah, you're telling us something that we don't know about Shane. Got to be something. Josh, something we don't know about Katie. Lindsay, something we don't know about our friend Jay here, and Melissa about me. And again, don't be too hard on us, right? And let's be PG here as well. So
I can start with
let's
that.
go with Melissa.
oh, she's ready. she's like, how much time do I have?
It's so funny. He's got one side of him that, the majority of the world sees like very professional, well-groomed, like professional to the T Tom, but he has a very, very energetic and silly side that no one sees, almost to the point where it's too much in the morning. Like, we both are very morning people, and for whatever reason, our kids are not. So he'll be coming in guns a-blazing, and I'm telling him, like, Amelia is having a morning, like, tone it way back. Like, she's still snuggling. Like, I'm having a slow wake up with this
We've seen
girl,
some of
and
those
she's
videos of that girl with her
guns
hair and she's
a-blazing.
tired.
Oh yeah, she's tired, and he's coming in like super silly and excited, and he says I swear, like, he bottles it all up at work, I think, and then when he comes home or first thing in the morning, it just spews out. So no one sees that silly, goofy, crazy side of him.
We're gonna have to
Great
get
to
that out
know.
there.
Yeah, that's great to
Turkey
know.
calls, he'll go like,
I mean, I gotta get it out somehow, everyone.
Could we get a turkey call right now? Could you share a
I
turkey?
knew that was gonna happen.
please.
No.
Come on, let's hear it.
It's a morning
Come
thing.
on, we all want to
everybody.
hear it.
Come on, just do it.
It's only 1:30 in Texas.
Um,
Hell, it's
I mean,
11:30 on the West Coast. It's
let's
still
get
morning.
through everybody's answer, and then if we get it on time, I'll give you a turkey call. All right? That's
Oh,
the deal.
come on, Tom. If you do a turkey call, I'm gonna edit that into a little short so fast.
Come on, please.
Good point, Anna. You just.
Hannah, you
All right.
ruined every chance.
All right, let's go. Who's ready? Usually I would call on somebody, but who's ready? All right, Hannah's ready. Go for it.
Well, Shane presents himself as being this really crusty, grumpy, introverted,
sweetheart.
doesn't want to be around any kind of person on this show. And everybody's heard
Shut
that
up,
over and over
Hannah.
again. They probably heard that bounce through the other computer. Anyway, he is the sweetest person and the most generous and is the best gift giver of all time. Like, this man spoils me absolutely rotten, and he's pretty fantastic. He's a
birthday
delight.
tomorrow.
He's
Birthday
a delight.
tomorrow, this one.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Anyway, that people don't always know that about him.
That's such a bullshit thing, because last night I was giving her shit about us having furniture out in the front yard. She just fucking put furniture out. Like, we look like the Clampets out there in our fucking neighborhood.
It's
And
gone. Someone took it. Did you even notice that today?
I did notice that. She rolled her eyes, him and Hod. She's just being nice.
Hey, well, we're gonna have a new nickname for Shane, maybe like Sweetheart or something like that. But
Yes.
he did take a nice picture with a butterfly.
Sweet baby
when
Jay.
we were in,
Oh, he loves that butterfly.
Butterfly. So, all right, Lindsay's got to run soon. Please, can you out Jay for something for us?
Okay, well, the only thing I can think of, and you guys may already know this, and I'm not saying this as a negative thing, but just something that you might not know about him, is that he's very sensitive, very emotional guy. I was actually wondering if when he saw that that was me on here, if he might shed a tear or two.
Oh, look at that. He's such
which
a
makes
D-head
him
for us.
wonderful, but I don't know that everyone knows that about him.
No,
Not really.
Mr. Sensitive.
Aw.
No.
Love
He's
it.
very composed. No, that's funny. So, funny story. Lindsay had gone through some of the communications to get on here, and one of her responses was, "Jay is going to die." So he's alive. He's breathing, looking good. We're all good.
I love it.
Josh, you get to go last, and the best part is Katie's not even here.
Listen,
whatever you want.
I've been trying to think of something for like.
Does
I don't
Katie know
past
you're on
5
right
minutes.
now? Does Katie know you're on?
No, I kept that secret from her. Hannah and I were talking about this a few weeks ago, and it's just like, hey, like, try to keep this a secret. So I was like, all right, I got this, right? She's like, and then like, I think when I walked in, she was texting Lindsay because Tom didn't have Lindsay's number, so it was like a whole thing. And so I was like, uh-oh, Hannah, I think she might know. But no, kept it a secret the entire time. She didn't know anything was going on. But to be honest with you guys, like, I feel like, I mean, Jay, she worked with you for so many years. You probably know everything about Katie. I don't think I can surprise you on anything. I'm at a loss. To be honest with you guys, I feel like she's kind of an open book.
Does she still drink a Mountain Dew and a Snickers bar for breakfast?
No,
No?
she has stopped that. It's
That
I
was the
like,
thing.
yeah, I was like, listen, your metabolism's not what it used to be. Okay, so we might not need to rot our teeth out in the morning with a Mountain Dew. I don't know, and a Snickers. But no, she, I really do not know of anything that I could say that would surprise you guys.
Okay.
Well, that
fair
shit's
enough.
getting edited out. That's fucking lame.
I mean, I would say she's always late, but you guys always know that. So,
Oh yeah, that's a given.
Wow. Well, hey, I had a lot of fun.
Great pull, Tom. There's some hard work in this one.
Well done, Tom.
This is a good time. Hey, I hope that Lindsey and Hannah and Melissa and Josh enjoyed indulging us and being a part of this conversation. I really had a good time planning it. It was kind of crazy, but it was a lot of fun and hopefully surprised Jay and Shane. So thank the four of you for all you do for us and supporting us. That's the first thing I think we all need
Absolutely.
to acknowledge here.
Yeah.
This conversation was pretty enjoyable and enlightening, and I hope some other people get a lot out of it. So
Hannah went and got me food this morning for lunch. I normally cook a steak at lunch, and then she went and got us food. So I thought there was no way she had something going on right now.
Bizarro day.
It's crazy.
I did a good job.
Thank you all. Thank you, Lindsey. Thank you, Josh.
Thank
Thank you. This was
it was
awesome.
awesome.
Melissa, Hannah.
Very cool. Good job, Tom.
See you guys.
See ya. That was wild,
cool,
man.
That was crazy, man.
I would have never have guessed that whatsoever.
I was sitting there going 4. So who do we know? What consulting firm has 4 people? What NRPA staff have 4 people or whatever? No, that was, I guess spouses at the end, but that's crazy.
Yeah, that's really cool. How long has this been in the works?
Since we added the 6/27 date. So
Wow,
remember that
okay.
this is a Thursday, and I said I wanted one more.
Was that your runaway bride?
No.
Oh, gotcha.
Still working on the Runaway Bride.
Gotcha.
Well, see, and I assume that's what today was.
That's what I would have
No.
thought too. Yeah.
I just wanted this one now. I wanted
I
it
love it.
before so that it comes
It's really
out
cool.
before conference.
That's a
next
great
time.
perspective because you marry into this business, whether you're in it or not. Like Hannah talks all the time. She's a secondary Parks and Rec professional. Like, she feels, she hears me come home and talk about it. She's at the event. She feels the stress of things. Like there's no escaping it.
No, and it's funny because there's some other things that we didn't get into, but
No, I know.
even when we take vacations right now, like we typically are going to visit parks or facilities, and that has become a known fact now that we're going to do those things. But the family loves it. The kids love it, obviously, and then she's grown to appreciate it and understand like the ins and outs of why we build things the way we do or where they put things when they build a new facility or a new park. And it's become a tradition ultimately when we go on vacations.
Y'all know Jonathan. Y'all got to meet Jonathan Hansen, my rec superintendent in Dallas. They took a vacation to Salt Lake or somewhere up in Utah. And on the way back, we found out BRS, who's building our rec center, built a rec center in Hobbs, New Mexico. Like just a random dot on the map. He rerouted his vacation to go through Hobbs. And he said,
That's cool.
he took a tour. He's walking around, his wife following behind him, like on Instagram. She was just resigned to the fact that this was going to be part of their vacation. Like they were going to go visit this rec center at 8 a.m. on a Wednesday morning and walk the whole facility. And there's nothing that was, they could go to the Grand Tetons, whatever they wanted to see, but part of that vacation's also going to be a facility. It's just the business we're in.
It is. It was really great. There were some really great perspectives that were shared there. I hope people give it a listen.
We say that a lot. We could have done that one for 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
there
gosh,
was.
yeah.
I had to monitor that for time. Right. We had an hour with a hard hour, quick intro, 3 questions, 4 main questions was probably what I thought we were going to get through. I mean, we got 4 people answering, but what I was going to do, which we didn't do at the end, this was if I had time, I was going to give them the opportunity to ask a question. Would have loved to maybe get some perspective of a question they want us to answer or the other spouses. Like, hey, how do you all work
Yeah.
within this confines or whatever. So hey, next
Yeah.
time, who knows, maybe there's another opportunity, but it was a lot easier to coordinate than I thought. I thought that was going to be a challenge, but once we got that date, the 27th fit, I texted them all or got their numbers if I didn't have their numbers, and just somehow it worked out.
Yeah. This was really neat, man. I appreciate it. And I'm like totally cloud nine right now. That was fun.
That was it was so cool to see all those faces, because those are all people that we all care about. Even if, I mean, I don't know Lindsey super well, I only know Josh from conferences, but Josh and Hannah's relationship is so strong. And
Yeah.
I've gotten to work with Melissa, I bought those wine glasses from her. So I feel like I have a little relationship with her, but I know what Lindsey means, in Jay's life. I know what all these spouses mean. We know what Josh means to Katie's life. Like that is,
Yeah.
he's so important to her, and he's a bit of a calming force for someone who's as hectic and crazy as she can be at times. And I just think that was really cool.
Well, and I also think it's almost like a take a seat back moment and like really understand that we couldn't do what we're doing without their support because we have kids and because life gets crazy, but we are pulled in so many different directions on a random Tuesday night when our phone rings, or because we had to stay late for a meeting. And, it's maybe not as shown the appreciation as much as we should, or maybe I don't as much as I should.
Yeah.
Because, Lindsey's job when the market closes, she's done. Like she doesn't have to stay late. Like, yesterday I got pulled into some meetings late and I'm not getting home till 7:00, but that's not known or the common thing in other professions.
Like we've been trying to eat lunch together every day because I can't really eat dinners right now. So I make a steak, we sit down and we try to eat lunch together, right? But at any moment, I'll get a text and I'll have to immediately stop talking to her. I have to stop listening to her, and I have to look at what emergency is happening. She is so good with that. She never gets offended. She if she's talking mid-sentence, she holds it. She has patience, understanding that this is just part of that job. And like, we don't thank him enough for those types of things,
We don't. I was hoping to give them some due credit with this episode. And again, I agree with you both. It was a great kind of almost a therapeutic type of feel for us to be able to sit back and listen to all that and refine that appreciation, the underappreciation that we probably, owe a little bit more of on a daily basis. So I was really happy to get that going. I'm glad to hear that you guys had a good time with it. And for our listeners out there, I appreciate you joining us on this very special 40th episode of RecLess. We will see you next time.
See ya.
See you guys.